Saturday morning edition of Embodied Consciousness Workshop Series. And this morning, we're super happy to have April Maple with us. She is known as Temporal Alchemist and is a sound therapist, has her own amazing modalities that she's developing, and we're really lucky to have her here with us today. However, today, she's going to be speaking on a topic of developing somatic intuition, and something all us men around here could probably learn, and probably some of the women too. I'm really happy to have this feminine energy in our series here. So with no further ado, give it up for April. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Good morning. So for today, I don't have a big structure because I feel like that is part of what I'm talking about. And having intuition and being able to adapt and feel for what's happening in the present moment. But what I do have planned is weaving in different experientials today. So I'm starting this off by saying participate at the level you would like to. And at the same time, I would love this to be a conversation. I don't want to only talk at you for an hour. I would love to hear your feedback because we all have our own intuition. So I can't speak for everyone and how their intuition and how their body works and interacts with our environment in any given day. But first let's start by landing here in our bodies. So take a moment to get settled, whatever that means for you. Maybe that's softening the eyes, closing the eyes, to turn inward. And even that might create a sensation, turning off your visual field. And let's scan our bodies from the top of the head all the way to the tips of your toes. Remembering to breathe. I want you to notice if there's any sensations as you scan your body. Temperature, pressure, speed, neutrality, even a lack of sensation can be information. And see if you go into story mode, start labeling words. See if you could just feel into the sensation without needing to label it for a moment. Just allow yourself to feel the sensation. And wherever you're at, maybe you're all the way to the tips of your toes. Maybe you're still halfway through. Whenever you're ready, do another scan of your body, and this time find a place that is feeling good, pleasurable, or neutral. A place that doesn't feel extremely painful. And within that place, think of it as your anchor for today. Allow that place to breathe, to spread out, to support any other areas. To tether you here in your body. And as you're ready, continue being aware of that place of anchor in your body. As you slowly blink your eyes open if they've closed. And for a few moments, see if you could continue being aware of that anchor while taking in the space around you at the same time. And then take a few moments to see what might feel good to do right now. Maybe it's vocalizing, maybe it's a stretch. Now you're aware, might feel good. Maybe it's knowing who's in the space now, what's changed. What can give you, let's say, 10% more comfort? Ask yourself that. And I invite you to continue doing that, not just right now when I prompt you, but to continually check in with yourself. Great. All right, so I thought I'd also talk a little bit about myself. I think it's important to talk about where I'm coming from and why I think the way that I do. I mean, part of it I'll never understand, but sort of the cultural factors and the training I've done. So I've been a musician for 23 years now. I did my higher education in music, and I thought I was going to go into this whole path of being a professor and being a classical musician. And then I realized it was a very small way of being creative. And the ironic part was it took me going to school to have the tools to realize that was happening with me. So I moved to Colorado. I've been here for officially a decade now, as of July. And I took a lot of time to figure out how do I still find my creativity, still enjoy music, and figure out what's going on. And so, yeah, I've spent this past 10 years finding a new way to play music, but also became a mover. And I realized I was a very heady person. I tend to intellectualize a lot, and our society is often like that. It's very natural for all of us. So I went into somatic therapy. And dance is a way for me not to intellectualize too much, because while I'm grateful for the technical skills I have as a musician, sometimes it takes a little bit more effort to be able to put that aside or to learn the rules and throw it away, like rules of improv, right? So for me, that's come back to the accessibility of our body, because in any given moment, we have our bodies. And even if we're not moving, we're always in motion. And even if we're not in motion, we can visualize. We can find some way to utilize our body. And I think it's also relevant to say that we started talking about doing this workshop because we're talking about all these different modalities and the importance of language and energy systems and honoring our lineage from different systems. But I think often what I'm seeing personally missing from the conversation is the expertise we all have. And it does take effort. It does take effort to notice the ways in which we've been conditioned, notice the ways in which we utilize systems to kind of ignore the other pieces of information that we can't explain in our body. And so I'm not saying throw away the systems and the lineages and all the things that we've learned. This is adding on to the conversation. This is providing that other piece to add on. So I would love to start by asking folks here, what are some ways you already notice that you self-soothe in your daily life?
I just picked up guitar about a week ago, and it's been very meditative to sit and feel the vibrations so close to my body.
Yes. So picking up guitar and being able to feel the vibrations of the guitar. It feels good, it feels meditative for you. Anti-anxiety. Great, thank you. Cooking. Chopping vegetables. Do you feel different pressure of different vegetables depending on how you're chopping it?
Yeah, and I really can enjoy the chopping, the different styles of chopping. It was weird, I always resonated with small chopping food, but as I got older, I had this resistance to food. It's this weird, I'm not, like I worked at a restaurant for a while, I was doing other aspects of the restaurant. They're like, can you chop some onions? And I was like, I don't know about that. But about a year and a half ago, met some friends and just started to calm my nervous system down. It just wasn't means to an end, but it was the process of chopping the potato.
Yes. And I'm hearing also learning to find joy in the daily things that we do, like chopping vegetables can feel like a task or mundane. What's your favorite vegetable to chop? Potatoes. What about it?
Yams. There's just specific ways that I like to chop it. Just with fingers, chop it the other way. And I like swords, samurai swords. I love the chopping. It's very therapeutic for me. And calm my nervous system down. And then it kind of started to reconnect with Mother Nature and appreciate not being wasteful. And then I was doing it for an intentional reason, other than let's just cook a meal. But it was very difficult at first. I was very hungry and I was like, I just want to eat this thing.
So noticing the sensations of hunger in your belly while you're chopping.
Right, and
Yes.
then realizing the process, the patience, and the reward was so beautiful. And then looking at the time it took, you're like, that wasn't so bad. You know, calming your mind down. But yeah, I had severe nerve damage. I had to learn to walk, talk, move, and food cutting was just amazing.
Yeah. Sounds like it rewired a little bit in your system.
Yeah, and just really get back to the basics of life. That the little movements, I think in life we take for granted. And then I'm a Virgo, so I like to see things like fruition or completion. I'm even looking at the stage that I worked on, and I can just see, look, I did that. And I'm honoring that. And I don't need outside validation from other people going, oh, you did such a great. And that's wonderful. I love that. And I needed to find my own reward system.
Yeah.
So yeah, seeing things. I think we're creators, right? We're all artists. We create things, and I believe we need to take the time to really, at the end of the day, instead of going like, well, we want more festivals, more people, put on days, but really go like, wow, I created that. And I think the Creator wants us to feel that you did it. You did that. Rather than this concept of manifesting magically something, like we are. Like when we work hard, we build something, a sacral chakra, we can feel, if we take the time, such as your practices, to really embody what we've created. And so if you know me, I'm always like, wow, look at that.
Yeah. Taking that time to celebrate and appreciate is what I'm hearing. Yeah, and I'm also hearing the slower dopamine, right? Like there's that rush when you're creating something, or you can see the thing you've created, but there's also those little moments in daily life that isn't for showing other people. It's for me. It's like rubbing my knees. Just feels really good throughout the day to regulate myself, and that's just that little bit of cue. I don't even know if it would be dopamine, but being able to, not chase that next big hit, or I've learned this thing, and but what about the little things, the little moments? Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
It's actually my therapist reminded me how good water is. And I started just kind of drinking water with more attention and feeling the water as it goes down. And it really calms me down.
Yes. And to me, water tastes very different. Like if you really taste water from different places, many different qualities, and how does it respond to your body? Like so many people have different beliefs about what kind of water you should be drinking and what the pH level is, and all that is great, right? But if I have a life motto, it's not always. So learning to recognize where that lands in your body. Anyone else have any self-soothing things that they do? And it could be really small.
What you just said just brought something up that I recently started regarding water. I'm always drawn to water, not a lot of crises. But I've been discovering different ways of healing through the waters, structured water, and so I've been structuring it instead of like placing my water out with the full moon, which I feel like is a great practice, but it's also maybe bringing in too much energy, and I need the sun. I'm a Leo also, so putting my water out in the sun, maybe the first thing in the morning or the evening, and how it puts, and then taking this jar of water and swirling it, until you can see like spiral shapes you want and like putting attention into that, or drinking it is really regularly not just thinking about.
Yeah. And how would you say that feels different when you drink that water? Like, how does it feel different in your body?
I think it just helps kind of calm my nervous system, and like almost feel like that intention that I put in it is running through my system. It encourages me instead of like just not just drinking water. It's like to me just taking water without just kind of shows like being at home. And this kind of like makes it so it's more available to all of my cells, and like whatever the intention is like permeate every part of it.
Yeah.
I feel that is like it's very soothing.
Yeah. I'm hearing also some themes that I'm hearing are the rituals that we create for ourselves. The way of intentionally how we put things in our bodies, how we create the beginning, middle, and end to a process. And also about the nervous system, how the nervous system wants things to go certain ways, and how do we soothe. And I also want to name sometimes that soothing can have a connotation of like calming, but it doesn't always have to feel calming. Sometimes what soothes me is screaming, letting out some energy, right? And being able to recognize that, which I think brings me to kind of my next question is, when do you start noticing that first cue that you need something different, or maybe there's a beginnings to overstimulation or dysregulation, like before the big explosive thing happens? There's usually a few things your body does before that full dysregulation is starting. So I'm wondering if anyone has noticed that there's sort of like first or second cue.
I have one recently. I've been putting a lot of fun and effort into building furniture and working on bringing a park together. And about a few days ago, I was like, something needs to change. And by the end of the day, the phone rang, and I'm moving to Natarita to build a house. And it was just that fast. And your topic when you entered the conversation, it sounded to me a bit like we can direct, or direct, no, I can't direct, but I can stimulate when you feel a sensation like, this is getting tiring, I don't want to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And open it up and ask for a dynamic, whatever it is. And the way it came was just
Yeah. 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 A lot of times we wait until the burnout happens or the fatigue or the collapse happens, right? To be like, oh yeah, something doesn't feel sustainable here. So how can we back it up a little bit more to notice it sooner, to be aware of it, or maybe to see if there's other options rather than continue on the same path over and over again.
And I've been working with a vision board for some time. And after you go 3-4 years into it, some inclinations come up that, well, I wonder when you say when to let go of it, because I've been reading the same prayers from Lama Tashi for a few years now. Will that one go and another one go?
Right.
Look, I
Right.
don't know, but it was good to start somewhere.
It's good to start somewhere. I totally hear you. And I think for me, when I started my somatic awareness, it was in yoga practice, and I greatly enjoyed like the fast vinyasa, hot yoga. I liked being told what to do, right? But then I agree with you. After a few years of that, you start wondering, like, okay, now I'm aware of how my body activates in this specific way. Are there other things that I can start asking myself?
Can you believe there's a thing called friendly yoga? Because I came in on the hot yoga, 26 down, 26 standing, and wow, it was amazing. But I moved so far away from it that I couldn't attend, and then I found friendly yoga. Let's sit in a chair. Let's.
I feel like we're doing friendly yoga. Yeah.
But I like you. I needed a militant approach to yoga.
Mm-hmm.
And we could have that. Ryan, preach, you can do it. Right?
Yes, and back to that both and that was necessary at a certain point, and I think there's a comfort. At least for me, there's a comfort and a safety to be told, like, this is the way to do it. This is going to be good for you. Here's the directions in order to feel good, to do it correctly, right? Like, oh, am I good? Kind of feeling, and I think it's a little more disquieting, more discomforting to not always have the answers, to not always have that way to explain something. Like to feel a sensation and be able to just feel that sensation without trying to name it or justify it. And there's a time and a place to name it and justify it. Can we create that pause between the stimulus and the response? To simply be in that liminal space of just listening to what that information is. Because it's the more information and knowledge you have, the quicker you can explain it to get to the solution. Anyone else notice the small cues before dysregulation? Just the tiny.
I I can't. Like I know what dysregulated state feels like. If I check my memory banks and look, I don't know what the. Is there some secret thing you can see that helps you, or what?
Yes, there's a secret manual. I think it's just awareness. I think it's just like anything else. It's daily practice and starting to notice sensations in the body. And maybe for people, it starts with just sitting still for a moment, like what we did earlier, doing a body scan, and then checking in with sensations, even knowing that they exist, right? But for some people, it might work better to just notice what you're doing in your daily life, kind of that mindfulness. Or as one of my teachers says, bodyfulness. Like not just noticing the thoughts, actually bodyfulness is noticing the sensations and being able to hopefully slowly track backwards a little bit more, right? Like, so for example, for me, I notice that my cheeks start flushing if I start to feel a flash of irritation, right? Or my jaw starts clenching a little bit when someone says something that I don't agree with. I'm trying to like keep it to myself. and that's not to say it's bad, but at least I'm noticing like, oh, that's what I'm doing. And then if it continues spiraling, then I notice like, okay, beyond that, I start to notice maybe my chest tightens. And then I start getting really quiet. And I either stay quiet or I start noticing tears well up. There's like a kind of a stinging that happens before the tears come out. And I guess also maybe a more actionable thing too is, does everyone know about emotion wheels at this point? Emotion wheels. So there's like the 5 primary emotions: happiness, sadness, and they say that they're universal because they've done studies of people that show what sadness feels like, and it looks pretty universal. And then beyond that, it gets more granular, right? So within sadness, there might be melancholy, grief, etc. But anyway, that's already really established, emotions wheel, but there's also sensation wheels, right? So I would love to see more granularity in being able to describe our sensations, like temperature, pressure. Sometimes it feels more metaphorical, like a fluttering. Right? So those are some things. Does anyone else have feedback on how to start noticing?
What do you think about this? What about, especially if we have trouble noticing our body sensations, noticing the context that we're in? I wonder if that could be helpful.
Yeah, can you say more?
Yeah, noticing that we're in a situation, having a heavy talk.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a situation noticing that we didn't eat breakfast this morning.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a situation noticing that we haven't been feeling well, haven't been sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if noticing context going into a situation could, it's different than noticing our body sensations, but it's giving us a heads up maybe what the body sensations.
Yeah. So I'm hearing like, okay, I might not always notice when I'm hungry, that interoception, right? But if I base it off of information of I haven't eaten all day, maybe then I can start noticing my belly and seeing if there's something that feels different. Okay.
throughout my life, I've been a very giddy up kind of person. You know, I get and I was listening to the DJ stage, and kind of popped up. Immediately, now we're talking about things before getting back, but I get my knee, I stop. I realized at that point that I wasn't aware of my body. I wasn't being, I'm going to just body mass or I believe stuff in there is more to do with your body. We're masking energy as awareness of logically, like, oh, I could have done this. But as I analyzed it, look back, I realized I wasn't aware of how I was feeling in my body. And I got people pleasing is a trend. So what's helpful?
What's the trigger again?
People pleasing.
People pleasing.
I found also feel myself going up.
So that feeling of wanting to
Yeah, like
go this way. Yeah.
And it's a mental forward. It's not a. I've got my body with me. I can go over and let this person. Like, they need help.
Right.
And then down there, I got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And then this, whenever you get hurt, injured, you get this. Oh, it just rocks your whole world. You just start to stop. It's like, whoa. And that's where I guess this conversation is trying to avoid. So if you get hurt, any which way, I believe it's showing us. For me, it was showing me that I was going too fast. I was getting in my people pleasing mode. I was believing I could do more than I physically could actually do. And so I have to regroup. I think it's our capabilities. That's what I'm saying. This is good. I recognize my capabilities and I see other people that I'm capable. In that moment, I want to go over there and just do it for them. So when I catch myself going like, no, that's not helpful. You know, sometimes it is. Don't get me wrong. That's the discernment of knowing when to help.
Right. It's also.
Right?
Yeah, I go into this space of instead of judging this is the right way or this is the wrong way, and being able to create more choices. So rather than saying, oh, my tendency is to help people, that's not good. Being able to say, okay, can I create that pause? I'm noticing that, okay, rewind. I hurt myself. The body will invariably say, that's too far, whatever that moment too far is. We'll notice that one, right? So then being able to go backwards a little bit from that moment of what felt too far, start creating that pause and being able to then create choice. And maybe sometimes the choice is the same as the default or the desire, but also are there other ways, such as asking if the person needs help, for example, or there's a myriad of different things. Yeah, so I always go back to how can we just create more choice.
Are there any like somatic tools that you keep on you or you use to help create that pause when you need to? Because I feel like in general we move so fast, especially in the city, that it's like how much can I do? How quickly can I do it? And is there any like tools that you use or you know people use to help create that kind of that space and that pause that you're talking about?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think movement practices are great to start developing that somatic intelligence, and that can look any different way. So For me, recently, it's really helped to just go outside and walk a little bit, or just go outside and feel the sun on myself. So it's something that feels maybe a bit more obvious. And I think when Ed was talking, I was thinking of also what are some external things you can do to get in your body. So a lot of people do the tapping, right? And it doesn't have to be tapping in a specific way. Anything that feels good, right? Or taking small moments out of your day to be like, what would feel good for me right now? I think a lot of times we just try to create this whole big thing. Like every day I'm going to journal and then go to yoga class and then do this and do this. And there's not time for that a lot of times. So within this 30 seconds, within this 1 minute, how can I check in with myself to see how do I want to breathe this next breath? How do I want to nourish my body? Right. Does anyone else have ideas?
Something that's really helped me is I become more just mindful of my breathing. I think that's the quickest thing we can access, no matter what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're, I don't know, in a busy situation where you're like, well, I can't just stop and do whatever feels the best, or go out for a walk or whatever, then just hop into your breath. Notice how you've been breathing, because that's typically you're going to notice like tension. And so even when you're driving down an interstate or something, you can like slow your breathing down, really deepen it. And what I've started to do is breathe with whatever it is I'm doing. Like make it flow together. Like you feel like you should be doing things faster, just like flow the move, like flow your breath with your movement, whether it's walking up a flight of stairs, or it's driving, or chopping vegetables. It's like be in tune with your breath, with whatever it is you're doing. Because that's the first thing we lose, or we tense up, or we shallow breathe, and that's trapping that negative energy that is coming in different parts of our body. And that's why we hold that tension.
Right, and it's that simple. It sounds like it shouldn't be that simple, but it is. Yeah.
Like for me, it took like, okay, how can I remind myself, because I wasn't doing it often enough, and I just like asked the universe like to send me a reminder. Do I need post-it notes or something? And one thing that I've been seeing a lot of is like angel numbers. So I'll just like, okay, every time I see an angel number, I'll tap into my breath. Like, what do you have?
I love that. Giving yourself a visual cue. Yeah. And another thing that came up for me is back to the beginning. I don't know if you were here at the very beginning, that anchor. And that anchor can be different every day, or it can be a remaining anchor that okay, I usually always feel good in, I was going to say knees, but probably a lot of people don't feel great in their knees. But some place in your body that you can always come back to as a place of home. And it just takes a millisecond to think about that one place in the body.
I appreciate you talking about breath, because I think that it serves up a few different things. We were talking about cues before, and sometimes I think when we're holding our breath, that's a cue that something's going on.
Yes.
It increases your heart rate. As you're holding your breath, your heart is, clamoring for more oxygen. So it's both. I think it's a soothing practice, breathing slow and deep and rhythmic. But I think it's also a sign that something's going on. We're holding our breath. And chances are, if we're holding it, our heart rate is also increasing.
Mm-hmm. So noticing the chain right? So starting to notice a chain as well. If I'm holding my breath, maybe my heart is starting to pound faster. Maybe it also changes my body temperature a little bit. Yeah, it's usually all happening in conjunction with each other.
But it's interesting because it's also soothing, which is
Right.
what we were talking
Right.
about. It's soothing when we're breathing and controlling our breathing.
And that also brings me back to this idea of developing somatic intuition. The name of the workshop is it's always developing, right? And you never get anywhere because your body is changing all the time, and the context in which you're in changes all the time. And then also, intuition is developed. It's not just this thing. I mean, a lot of us, I think, as kids already are very intuitive somatically, and then we get into our heads. So these little practices can help you develop that intuition, is just to start asking questions of what's going on. Just listening. Starting to listen. It is a skill, I think. Does anyone have any questions? Any other questions? Time check. Yeah.
I'm regulating myself now. Know when to slow down, know when to go medium speed, and then there's a fast speed. Tonight's going to be high energy speed. And sometimes you have to understand, you gotta go push yourself. And then you gotta decide for your own self, maybe that's not the best thing. I should maybe engage in a different way than sitting in a chair just to. But tonight is gonna be speed up. I'm getting the feeling. And then it's gonna speed up crescendo. And if we go on this sound journey tonight, we can get all these. So there is a time to go fast.
For sure. And breathing quickly, sometimes that can be really helpful to breathe quickly. Yeah, it's not always like relaxing breath. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that in. And also, yeah, maybe tonight's a great opportunity to start noticing a little bit, like what's happening when I'm dancing? What's happening when I'm listening to this music? What does that make my body want to do? Maybe close your eyes for a moment and like, there's no audience. What does my body want to do?
Right. Because during the trance, we have a tendency to always looking outside ourselves, losing the person, searching, always searching outside ourselves. I believe this body consciousness is about going within and then tuning to the art performer. And if one does that practice, like these tools that we're learning in this workshop, you can walk away definitely being honest word, what are we going to take because these artists are high level tuning in and they're taking us on a journey. And if one is willing to dare just to go on that journey, it's incredible. And sometimes I do really well and I get into it and see me off over my own little world and go, come back, come back. And I'm like, no, I don't want to come back. So, but it's super fun, super excited. I hope that tonight everybody really benefits from the spiritual practice of that sacred dance. And I'm a dancer, and my intention is to give people a high person. So I have a future frequency of celebration, and I have a certain magic, and I can do it. And it's intended to get people through our stuff and engine. However awkward, because we sometimes feel dumb in our bodies. And the only way you can get through that, because I've been there, is you gotta just move. However weird or whatever you feel dumb, you gotta get.
Right, right. Like sometimes our intuitions are inhibited by what we think we should do or how we should hold our bodies. And I think another thing that comes up for me as you're saying all this is creating those spaces in which you can do the weird thing in your body, like, or find people in your life that feeds into that energy. Like, my partner and I always speak gibberish to each other. It feels so good. It feels so good, So find those people that amplify that energy. Find those spaces, and maybe it's here, where you get to like be super goofy in your movements, and maybe it's that place in your room where you reserve that one little space where you put on your guilty pleasure. Maybe you're a huge Taylor Swift fan. I don't know, like put on a song and just like belt it out and get weird and notice like what can I do when I don't feel like anyone's watching and I feel like I should be doing this with my body. Like what ways are we sort of inhibiting, or lack of better words, like policing our own bodies? And sometimes that is what needs to feel safe in the moment. We can't act every single way in every context, but starting to create those spaces in which you can have the 100% version.
And I think here in America, that's the joy of American freedom, is to radical expression. And when the other world looks to us in this Western civilization, what radical expression is, and that's why I created this card, is because I wanted radical expression. And if you're feeling awkward, I believe I'm a way shower for that, for people, to radically express yourself. And we all can watch ourselves on film. And you look at yourself and you're like, man, why didn't I bring more? That's me, there I am. I need to bring more of that out. And sometimes we need a mentor, a dancer, or someone that's a way shower that's like, oh, he's moving kind of fun, that. And then in that process, you're bringing your authentic, true self through. And so when the music starts, that's what the music is here, the sidetrack. I believe this whole thing is all about is bringing that radical expression of yourself out. Find it. You feel awkward, you feel weird, you're not sure how to act. That's a good place to be.
Yeah, that liminal space. Back to that liminal space. Like, how should I act? How should I be?
Years ago, I was taught to act very stoic and I moved my hips and I want this to be a safe space, and I created a space out here in the desert where we can it's just free to do, no judgments, and there's healing. That's the end of the day. That's get the healing from the music. Don't avoid it. Don't think I wish my life was better. If I could just move to a new place, because we're all placed in horrible situations. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all for contributing in the conversation, participating in a way that feels good. I invite us to do one last experiential participation, close it with something more nonverbal somatic. Can we stand in somewhat of a circle so we can all see each other? Yeah, okay, great. So I want us all to just take a moment to tune into how you feel right now. It can be an emotion, it can be a sensation, it could be a word or a sentence. Just take a moment to figure out how you feel. And then when we're ready, I'll start. And then we'll go clockwise. We're just going to do a gesture that signifies that sensation, emotion, feeling. Okay? All right, so I'll start. Ah. Good. Let's do one more round, okay? So we're going to mirror each other this time. So maybe you do the same gesture or you do something different. That's okay. So I'll do the gesture and then the rest of the group mirrors in their own way that feels good for their bodies. And then we'll go back and forth. Okay? So I'll start again. So everyone else does it? Yeah, good. All right, and everyone. Thank you for that. All right, thank you. Thank you so much for coming. I hope to see you on the dance floor. Thank you. Thank you so much.